Thanks for inviting me to your channel, Mike. It's been a hot minute since we've shared some pain watching a movie together. Unless you loved it. Oh God, please tell me you didn't love it.
I absolutely did not. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to another installment in the Terrible Movie Collab Season 2. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're new or returning, where today we're here. And when I mean me, I'm talking about my guest joining me for today's collaboration. That is Dave from Interpreting Stars, to talk about the 2020 movie directed by Brett Kelly called Ouija Shark. I'm going to hand it over to Dave to explain the plot of this one.
Ouija Shark blends the concepts of the horrors of the Ouija board with the horrors of the sea, when a group of girls rent a vacation home for some unknown reason, which is where they discover an abandoned Ouija board with a ridiculously giant planchette that summons, you guessed it, a big fake-looking shark that knows just enough English to tell them that it's hungry before emerging and hunting them all down one by one.
So just before we get into today's review, I would just want to give a quick thank you to all my awesome Patreons who really help to support the channel. If you're interested in joining Patreon yourself, the link is down below in the description box. You can also shop and buy some merch. Thanks for listening, really appreciate it. Now, let's get on to the video. So for anyone who's wondering, okay Mike, did you take any notes for this movie? Do you have any kind of written down? Well, that is my notes, guys. Literally the title and the name of the director. And that is it. I didn't need to write more than that because this movie is absolutely awful, and I'm going to just start right there. This movie is probably the worst one I've seen so far in this Terrible Movie collaboration. Maybe The Amazing Bulk tops that, but only just very minorly tops that. So I'm going to make this portion of my part of the video very short, very sweet, and to the point. Positives for this movie. I have one positive that isn't probably even supposed to be a positive, and that is when this Ouija shark, this ghost shark, takes out the bad actors one at a time. That is my only positive for this movie, because everything else is absolutely dreadful. I had a hard time sitting through this movie. It was utterly painful, let me put it that way. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to hand it over to my guest Dave from Interpreting Stars and see if he actually really enjoyed this movie.
What's up, Mike and all his viewers? It is I, Dave, from Interpreting the Stars, and you've asked me so courteously to return to your channel to discuss another horrible movie. Why I agreed to do it, I may never know. But here we are talking about Ouija Shark, a film I was not looking forward to, and I can say my fear of what it could be didn't really match up to what it was, which was far worse. Man, you know, usually I like to start off my reviews with the positives and then I end it with the negative, but there's nothing good here. Not even the semblance of something good in the context that it's so bad that it's good. It's just bad. If I had to force myself to gravitate towards something good, I could say maybe because I've never seen these types of concepts blended before, there's an air of originality there, but even then, the more that I think about that, the more I realize it's blending two overly saturated and unoriginal concepts, as is, into one. So as weird as it is for me to say, I truly believe that this is more unoriginal than what we typically understand as unoriginal. Doesn't make sense to me either, man, but here we are. Jumping into some of the negatives, well, we don't even have enough time to list everything off, but I was rolling my eyes as the film began. First of all, the way the film looks. Yes, it's low budget, so you were never going to get anything that looks amazing, but there's tricks here and there that you can do to make a low budget film look more cinematic in general. Not perfect, but better. But they just didn't feel like doing that. What this film ultimately looks like is if it was filmed on a phone with automatic settings galore, so auto white balanced and bland. There's also shaky cam, but on purpose during moments that don't make sense. Like you can tell a camera is supposed to be still, like standing on a tripod still, but for some god-awful reason, it's randomly vibrating. Probably to elicit some kind of sense of tension, but I was just annoyed. There's also a lot of really slow build-up moments, supposedly to pad the time. Like there's this entire random montage of this girl washing a car. washing the neighbor's car in particular. Why? Nobody knows. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't help further the story. It's just girl washing car montage. Once the shark shows up, it looks super fake. Like a superimposed puppet of a shark with adjusted opacity filter to make it look a little bit see-through because it is a ghost, but the way that it looks, the way that it sounds, the way that it moves is terrible. And none of it makes any sense. The acting is wooden and monotone, almost seemingly on purpose, maybe to give the audience that feeling of being so bad that it's good, but it doesn't work. I kept checking my watch, hoping that it'll end soon, because once the stalking started in this movie, the entire story fell flat. It's just repetitive from beginning to end, with a weirdly forced twist ending that, sure, why not at this point? I don't get it anyway. Mike, I tried. I did. I thought maybe this would end up being a classic in a way, and something that I wouldn't mind rewatching later on in life to laugh at sometimes. But all I could feel was a sense of gratitude to the universe when the movie ended. So there's that. An F-letter grade. Final overall score of 22%. 22 out of 100 possible stars, and even my personal bias feeling that you can see below from my bias score was 14%. Because look, this is a film that I regret watching. There's at least an hour of my life that I can't get back, no matter how hard I try. But maybe tonight I'll try to stay up an hour longer than I normally would to get that hour back. But, whatever.
Thank you, Dave, so much for joining me for a collaboration once again. It's been a while, but it's great to have you back onto the channel, man. And for anyone who hasn't followed Dave at Interpreting Stars as of yet, the link is down below in the subscription box. Go check out his content. Go subscribe to him. Go tell him that I sent you or that you found his channel through this Terrible Movie collaboration. And yeah, man, it's great to hear your thoughts. And I am in the absolute same boat as you. There was hardly nothing to like in this movie whatsoever. Like yourself, I found myself constantly checking my watch, being like, wow, we're only like 10 minutes in here, like we're only 20 minutes in. Like, that's how I kept feeling about this picture as the runtime kept progressing. Because the terrible things about this movie, right? Yeah, Dave made a great point. It's low budget, so I didn't expect anything crazy. It's from Wild Eye Releasing as far as I'm aware, and whenever it's something from then, I'm not expecting anything good, let's face it. But it's just the decisions that they make in this movie. I mean, heck, we've even got one point where one of our main characters who finds the Ouija board in the first place has like a montage scene, like randomly, just like towards the end, where she's kind of like a cheap Linda Hamilton kind of moment, and it's like almost as if she's going to take on the Terminator, but she's taking on a ghost shark. And I'm just like, why is that in here? Why is she just kind of suited and booted for like the sake of it? And then, as Dave mentioned, there's like a complete montage scene of one of the other girls who's in this kind of like group of girls in this kind of like house they're staying at the weekend, or this holiday home, whatever it is. And yeah, she's doing like a random montage with a guy like washing his car, because it seems as if she kind of fancies him, but then the guy doesn't play like any big feature into the movie. He's not like a main character, he's like a random neighbor. Basically, it's just like a scene to have her wash a car with her top off, like in a bra. Like, that's basically what that scene is. So I mean, whether the director is that's their real partner, or maybe they had a crush on this actress, I don't know, but she was subject to that, and I was like, well, why is she being subject to this right now? Why is this car wash scene like so important and influential to the rest of this story? It just flat out isn't. And then you've got the parts here where they try to summon this kind of ghost, and they have this terrible backstory about this Ouija board and ancestry and all that kind of rubbish, guys. I'm not even going to bore you with the details at this point, but they have this awful backstory where they try and make it so interesting, and then they even have a spin right at the end with this kind of like shock ending twist that Dave was referring to, which I'm just going to flat out spoil for you guys, because I really can't recommend this movie, where they try to involve Donald Trump, who at the time of this movie was president, as far as I'm aware, of the United States of America, and they try to involve him in this whole Ouija Shark experimentation kind of Ouija board synopsis, and I'm just like, why is Donald Trump being referred to in this movie? Like, what significance does it have? Like, the ancestry, does that go all the way back to Donald Trump's family in this movie? Like, it makes absolutely zero sense. The Cinematography is a shaky cam galore. In the running scenes, all you're seeing is just someone's trainers like this, like constantly, like the camera's like that. It's off-putting, it's distracting, it's awful, it's hideous, it's horrendous, it's absolutely gargonzo beans, and I could go on and on and on. Acting, absolutely terrible. There's no one here that does a good performance, or even to the point of a one-liner, like justifiable performance. It's just flat out bad. I've seen better acting with 2 cardboard boxes. That is how good I've seen better acting. And this movie, it's just got nothing going for it. It sat on the shelf for 2 years. It didn't get released after those 2 years, and it took that time to actually get released, and I'm really not surprised why. I know Wild Eye released and probably released this to try and make a quick buck. Fair play to them if they did, but this is absolutely awful, guys. I really can't recommend this. Like, hour 7, hour 10-minute runtime. Like Dave said, it's like an hour you're not getting back of your time. So with all that said, and my kind of rant over, I'm going to give this movie a half a star out of 5. So thank you to Dave so much once again for joining me. Really appreciate it, and always love having him onto the channel. If you haven't subscribed to Dave, go do so by clicking the red button down below on his channel to press that subscribe button to him and click the link so you can get to his channel, or type in Interpret Stars on YouTube. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.